What are you really paying when it comes to healthcare? And I am not talking your insurance premiums, deductibles, and copays. I'm talking about everything else. You got any clue what I'm talking about? Get a cup of coffee. We got some talking to do. I used to think healthcare cost was what you paid for your insurance every month, your deductibles, copays. That's what I assumed healthcare cost was. But it's broader than that. And as we have looked at our budgets and we have identified where we're spending money, what could possibly be economized, etc., one of the things that have bubbled to the surface, and you're aware of this, is everything you're spending can all add up. And this is where we have to be mindful of what we're selecting, if there's redundancy, and are you paying for a brand name? Did we not all get force-fed that marketing routine back in the 80s with Vidal Sassoon? If you don't look good, I don't look good. That was a great little advertising campaign. Oh, and then there was that wonderful actress who, she hit it big with her "Nothing Comes Between Me and My Calvin Kleins." There we go. I have dated myself, but I know a lot of you out there remember these campaigns as well. But let's talk about the actual healthcare cost and why brand names and other decisions that you make can significantly impact how much you're going to have to budget and you're going to have to spend. But before we move into this next chapter of life and we're figuring out how much money we need every month, this deserves a look. I didn't realize how much the small healthcare choices were going to impact my budget. I used to think that a brand name, that's just what you called something, whether it was Kleenex, Coke, or Clorox. It all was a product that served a purpose, but the brand names we pay more for. How many of us have moved from the names that I just put out there to some of the store brand equivalents just because of the price point? Healthcare costs include products that we go and we purchase on a regular basis, and we have to make the same wise decisions about how we're spending our money. The method to this madness is you have to start looking at what you're currently spending. What does it take for you to live right now? And what do you need in retirement on a monthly basis? You don't need $1 million in your retirement accounts, but you do need to know what your number is. So if you're not currently budgeting, down below, Master Your Money Plan free budgeting workbook. Go and grab it. I've also built an extended, very thorough retirement reality reset kit that is also down below with a corresponding spreadsheet, so you can just plug in the numbers from the workbook and let it do the math for you. But we have to figure out now what these little pieces are costing us. Death by 1,000 cuts. You don't want your retirement to be a victim of that. In the previous video where we talked about prescription drugs, there is value, and I say it's a requirement for you to have those conversations with your doctors. When they give you a prescription, you need to question, is there a generic equivalent? Is there a lower cost equivalent? Is there a combination of two generics that could be combined to equal this one brand new boutique, no generic available prescription that they're giving you? Same thing when it comes to the health care that you do over the counter. You need to look, and again, AI is great for that comparison, but we just do it the old-fashioned way. Put the bottles up next to each other and say, do I need all this? Does this have this already? Is there a generic to go with this name brand? Oh my goodness, back in the day, Geritol. Who amongst us remembers that? Leave it in the comments. We were too young at the time to take it, but I can remember the commercials and our grandparents having it, etc. Well, they've updated some of that branding, but it's basically the same push as we age. We are looking for not so much the fountain of youth, but ways to make us healthier and better longer into our golden years. If we all had a time machine, we'd go back to our teens and 20s and make better choices. But we're here today, And we're going to do what we can do to live our best life moving forward. And some of that is over-the-counter supplements and other healthcare products, but you have got to be wise with your money. So make sure you do the comparison. Make sure you do the analyses in some form or fashion. Do you have redundancy? Can you stop buying that? Even if you're not ready to make the leap. These are all pennies and nickels and dimes and quarters. But all of this money stacks up and you can pay off debt now with the extra. You can put it into your savings cash peace fund. You can put it into your investment funds, however you want to manage it. But it's mining for found money in your current existence and preparing you to make sure that when you get to retirement, you don't have these extra bleeding costs and you're in a much better position. Some of these things that we self-prescribe or could possibly have been prescribed. There are some really high-grade fish oils that a doctor can prescribe. There's a higher grade prescription B vitamin complexes to help with nerve support, etc., etc. Some of these prescriptions don't have a generic equivalent, but is there an over-the-counter quantity that a doctor would approve you or recommend or be comfortable with you taking instead? More questions that you should ask your doctor. Have that working relationship with them. Yes, they do have a production schedule in their offices, but if they're unable in person to take the extra time to spend as you open your giant Christmas list of all your supplements that you want to go over, I am certain that you can reach them through their portals or package the questions into smaller packets. And then that way you don't have to have a 2-hour conversation. You can do 15-minute conversation here or one porthole question here, but you've got to ask those questions. And don't think you need to understand every option that's out there. You just simply need to understand it is your right, your prerogative, and your due diligence to ask the questions to your doctors. A lot of doctors these days want to know what all supplements you've self-prescribed. That's another wonderful conversation with them. You may be taking some stuff that's counteracting with the current prescription meds that you're on. So make sure your doctor is aware of anything you self-prescribed, and they can actually coach you on what you should or should not take. Or, hey, you're already on this prescription med. That's doing everything you need. Don't worry about that. So you don't want to be taking too much of a good thing because it's not always a good thing. I am not telling you to go and do all of this immediately, but I want to make you aware. This is some housekeeping that needs to be done. A, for your health, making sure you're not taking too much of something that's counteracting with your prescription medicines. But this series is about controlling your healthcare costs with awareness and intention. I am not a healthcare expert. This is what I'm doing for myself, motivated by the budget, but then also motivated by my long-term health concerns and diligence on keeping me as healthy as long as I can. So if you or anybody you know are concerned about healthcare costs, this was an eye-opening point for me because, again, I always thought healthcare costs were the big bucket things, in monthly premiums, regardless if it's now, before 65, or at 65 with Medicare. So it was the monthly premiums, it was deductibles, and it was copays, and then, of course, prescription costs. All of the other essentials that we think are essentials, the things that we do for us, I never consider that part of healthcare. But if it is FSA or HSA reimbursable, somebody somewhere thinks it's healthcare. So your multivitamin or a collagen supplement, protein, etc., evaluate this. Double check with your doctor. Is it something that is doing me good? Is it doing me bad? Or is it benign? And some of the benign stuff, you might want to reevaluate as well. Why do any of that and purchase it out of your budget if it's really not working for you? Snake oil used to be sold out of the back of a wagon on the prairies, or at least that's what they called it. But it basically was Youth in a bottle, promises in a bottle. And it is happening today in our society. It's never stopped. We do have regulatory bodies in place that will prevent dangerous things, or at least pursue dangerous things that are being marketed. But all of the benign stuff, sometimes you might as well go out and eat dirt. Okay, so I'm Jenny. This is a 7-day series talking about healthcare costs, all of healthcare costs, as we go into this next phase of life where we're looking to retire early or at 65, the Medicare and the different parts. We're not into that. I may not dive into that. I'm not quite there yet. I'll walk through that with a couple of my in-laws and my parents, and that is a mind bender. Other videos are addressing how you get some questions answered, etc. So be certain to binge all of this series. But come on back. On a regular, I post on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I got a lot to say. Well, actually, I've got a little to say about a lot of stuff, but I got a lot to say about prepping yourselves into, or preparing, not prepping, we're preparing ourselves for this next chapter of life, whether you want to retire tomorrow or you're going to wait to 65 or 67. It's your choice, and you don't have to lay it all down at one time. Stop recording. So healthcare cost. Prior to hitting this stage of life where I am considering retiring before age 65, and I know that healthcare is 100% going to come out of my pocketbook, I used to think it was all about the premiums, the copays, and the deductibles. To me, that was the full picture of the equation. Everything else, those are just things I would buy myself anyway. Whether it's the multivitamin or, as a woman of a certain age with a little bit of brain fog, there's all sorts of supplements out there that apparently are there to help support us in our unique situations. But at the end of the day, I sat down and I took an inventory of everything I was taking as self-prescribed supplements or self-prescribed topicals to help fight the aging, et cetera, et cetera. And yes, I will admit I have become quite, I don't want to say enamored. I see the value of these AI engines that can do some analyzation for you without having to think too hard about it. So I brought all my supplements in. I took pictures of all the ingredients, etc. And I asked an AI engine, ChatGPT, not sponsored, but love this particular engine. But I asked ChatGPT to do a comparison. Where did I have redundancy? Because I was getting tired of taking fistfuls of pills mornings and nights. It was ridiculous. So ChatGPT actually analyzed all the ingredients, told me where there was redundancy, and I was incredibly surprised. But then also, without marketing overtures, made recommendation of not brand names, not marketed names, but supplements, period. So if you're taking, I don't know, magnesium or vitamin B or vitamin C, that's the level to which it made recommendations and told you what was the suggested dosage, period. So I actually was able to eliminate quite a bit, and I'm going to be true transparency here. If I, and when I, because I did, all the current supplements I'm taking, I broke it down because I'm a geek like this. I took the whole bottle, how many doses, how much, what was the cost per dose, how many am I taking every day, etc. So I came up with a daily total healthcare cost of just the supplements I was taking. And then I multiplied it by a month. And then I multiplied it by a year. And I was spending, and this is not sustainable for the rest of my life, trust me, over $200 a month in just supplements. I challenge you, go take a look at that yourself. Because healthcare cost is not just your insurance bill. It's not just your copay. It's not just your deductible. It's all of these little things, and they add up. So regardless if you're ready to make this leap or you're doing a 2 to 5 year ramp up, this is part of that's what they used to call us 4 girls. Anyway, yeah, we won't get into that. Well, okay, my older sister's named Penny. I'm Jenny. And then there's a set of twins. And so it was just the way people refer to it as penny, nickel, dime, quarter. And of course, the youngest one and the most petite baby of us all became quarters. So that was a good bragging point for her. All right, this will be in the bloopers at the end. I'll cut this out of the main video.